Autumn is a major season for volunteers with both the National Day of Service and Remembrance on 9/11, as well as Make a Difference Day, each bringing out volunteers throughout the U.S. Travel Television features some of these volunteer stories in this month's episode.
The reason we got through this to this point, not that we'll ever get over it, is because we work together, hand in hand. Set aside our egos, set aside our titles, set aside whatever it is that makes people think they're different, and work together. Ground Zero itself was sort of like the magnet. People got up and they said, I gotta be there. I have to be there.
There were so many people came down to help. I mean, from all over the country, buses would come in with the Red Cross, Salvation Army, a lot of kids.
People wanted to help in whatever way they could. Some people just handed out bottles on the highway to people. Some people went to comfort children.
You'd relieve another unit, you know, and they would go home and you would report and you would just start your digging, you know, and searching, and sometimes you would find somebody, sometimes you found a friend.
One thing that anyone who ever worked on the site will tell you is that they cried every day inside. There were some times that you couldn't hold it. There were some times. But that's what we bring to bear.
I think that's one of the things that makes America such a great country, is that, you know, whenever such a tragedy like this happens, you know, most people would expect America to be down and out, you know, and be like so depressed and down on themselves. But if anything, it's actually the exact opposite.
I got on my knees and I prayed and I asked the Lord, let me do something for these families. Let me reach out to them and give them comfort, because I knew in my heart they needed comfort.
After 9/11, we decided to make our restaurant an anchor of the neighborhood. And we served food to whoever was there, either rescue workers, utility people, firemen, policemen, and we created a place where there was an interaction of the community.
I was looking for something to do to honor my late brother who perished on September 11th. And so a close friend of mine had this idea about starting this organization that helps inspire people to mark September 11th as a day of service.
My sister Wendy worked in Tower 1 in the World Trade Center, and unfortunately my sister did not make it on that day. I remember speaking to my friends from California and simply saying, imagine if we went to Afghanistan and we built a school there. What a kick in the head to Osama bin Laden.
Basically, we got this huge plan, and we're going to walk from Rossford to Shanksville to Ground Zero, and we're going to do it in X amount of time, and we're going to try and raise X amount of dollars, and that's pretty much how the idea started.
The mission of New York Says Thank You Foundation is every year on the 9/11 anniversary to take volunteers from New York City, send them somewhere in the country where they had a disaster, and rebuild something as our way of saying thank you for all the help we got after September 11th.
One of the most touching moments was the day of the actual opening of the school building. What I found were some of the most thankful people, people that were so excited that we were there.
We raised over $17,000 for the September 11th memorials, both in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and also in New York City at Ground Zero. Obviously, I felt that huge sense of relief, a sense of accomplishment.
We've had great success so far. Millions of people around the world have participated on or around September 11th by doing things on a simple scale or a very large scale for others in need.
Quilts are very comforting. And to be honest with you, I didn't know how comforting until I started giving out the quilts to the families. And I started getting the response from the families. And each of those quilts are really made with so much love, and the families feel it.
For the 9/11-2008 anniversary, we're going to do the country's largest barn raising. We're going to build a 14,000 square foot barn in Greensburg, Kansas, which was a town that was 95% destroyed by an F5 tornado last May.
After 9/11, there was a tremendous spirit in the country, and I'd like to keep that going. I think that's important for a country.
People should stop and remember on 9/11, not just what happened on 9/11, but what happened on 9/12, and how they felt when they saw folks with, Chicago firefighter, badges on their sleeves showing up to direct traffic in New York, and people from small towns in California and just around the world who converged on our city. It changed us forever.
The more we keep the American spirit, the sense of unity, and the more that we care for each other, the more that we keep that alive, the better off we're all going to be in the end.
Our mission all along has really been to just capture that sense of unity and compassion that was so natural after September 11th, and build on people's inherent need to do something good for somebody else.
When an individual helps with the well-being of a community, the individual is enhanced, and the community is enhanced.
When we do these 9/11 anniversary weekend projects, hundreds of people will come up to me and say, God bless you, and thank you for what you're doing. And I tell them, hey, we're just doing what people did for us, and you want to thank me, show up at the next one.
We just got to open that little door a little wider and have people know that, what, we can make a difference.
There can be beauty from ashes. It's hard work, but it can happen.
The anniversary of 9/11 was marked by a day of service by and for veterans. Over 150 volunteers, including students from George Washington University, joined Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans to renovate and spruce up the Vinson Hall retirement community. The residents of Vinson Hall, almost all of them veterans, also pitched in to help and were joined by First Lady Michelle Obama, who picked up a paintbrush and worked with the crew.
My name's Tony Woods. I am the Coalition Director for Service Nation. I'm also a two-time Iraq War veteran, a veteran of the Army. Today's September 11th, which thanks to the Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act, is now a day of service and remembrance, and so it's an opportunity for Americans to turn a tragic event into something meaningful and powerful where we give back to our communities. And so today, as a part of the Mission Serve initiative, which brings the worlds of civilian and military service together, we've got veterans, civilians serving alongside one another. We're working hard right now to renovate a retired veterans home here in McLean, Virginia at the Vinson Center.
I'm Eric Greitens. I'm the CEO of The Mission Continues, and we're here today with the First Lady at Vinson Hall in Virginia. The First Lady has joined The Mission Continues on one of our service projects. It's taking place on September 11th. Today, The Mission Continues is doing 50 service projects around the country where we've brought out veterans of all eras and civilians of all backgrounds to serve together on September 11th. Part of our mission is to make sure that every veteran who comes home has the opportunity and the resources available to them to continue their service to our country by serving with nonprofits and charitable organizations and community organizations here at home, where they are able to continue their mission of public service. We've involved volunteers in over 50,000 hours of service, and this day, September 11th, is marking the beginning of a 2-month campaign where we're going to continue to serve all the way through Veterans Day of this year. It's great for everyone to come out, and I encourage everyone to go out to missioncontinues.org.
Hi, my name is Charles Simon. I'm here with the Mission Continues. The goal of the Mission Continues is there are a lot of returning veterans, and we all want to serve our country and continue to serve after our military service is up. We have a number of people who are fellows that we sponsor throughout a year to help them set up community service, helping out young people, anything in their community to just help out.
Pearl Harbor survivor, Midway survivor.
If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. By giving that definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great. Because everybody can serve.
Our country, this wonderful place, this little piece of real estate that we call America, was built, founded on service. We didn't necessarily wait for local, state, or the national government. We came together as a people, and we just did it.
I was one of 4 6-year-old children, girls, to integrate the public school system here in New Orleans in 1960. When I look at the Norman Rockwell painting and I see myself, I always say that the lesson I took away was a lesson that Dr. King tried to teach all of us. And that was that we should never look at a person and judge them by the color of their skin. I crossed a picket line, a mob every day for a whole year. There was a woman there to greet me. She did everything she could to make my day fun. She not only taught me, but she read stories to me. We played games. I knew that if I got past the mob and inside of the building, I was going to have a great day. And it was because of her. So she showed me her heart. And I began to realize that there was no way she was like the people outside. I couldn't judge her the same way. And so I believe at that moment, I learned the lesson that Dr. King died trying to teach us.
In 1957, when I was 17 years old, I wrote Martin Luther King Jr. a letter. Told him I wanted to attend a little college about 10 miles from my home, and this school didn't admit black students. He wrote me back and sent me a round-trip Greyhound bus ticket. I traveled to Montgomery. I saw Dr. King standing behind a desk. He said to me, "Are you the boy from Troy? Are you John Lewis?" I was so scared I didn't know what to say or what to do. And I said, "Dr. King, I'm John Robert Lewis." I gave my whole name. He was so inspiring. He was so moving. And somehow, in some way, I wanted to become part of that movement, and I did.
For a long time, people fought to get the King holiday in, and it finally got achieved nearly 25 years ago. But it was sermons, talks, meetings, lunches, and one day I said to myself, this is wrong. If Martin Luther King were here, he'd say, that's not what I want on my day. I teamed up with John Lewis in the House and many Republican and Democratic colleagues of mine in the Senate.
We felt that Martin Luther King Jr. was a man of service, and his day, the federal holiday, should be a day of service.
When the Congress passed the legislation, it was sort of like reading wedding vows, that we were marrying a commitment to serve the common good and to let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. We lost a great soul. He took chances. He lived daringly. He didn't let the fear of harassment or persecution deter his mission. He stayed focused and committed. While he died at a young age, he lived a long life in terms of service and witness. He piled into those 39 years, 100 years or more on service and preaching and loving, caring.
The best way to honor him is to do what he advocated and what he exemplified in his own life. Service is an important part of what makes us human and also an important part of what makes us good citizens. But that it is an ongoing process, one that has to be confronted every day because the needs of people are every day.
Dr. King said that life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are we doing for others? And the MLK Day of Service provides us the opportunity to answer that question. For some people, it's continuing service. It's what they do every day. For some people, it's the first time. It's an opportunity. What we really want people to do is to make an enduring commitment to service. But on this day, on MLK Day, I'm going to make that choice to be in service to others for the rest of my life.
As Coretta Scott King proclaimed,
the greatest gift Martin could receive
is if people of all racial and ethnic backgrounds
celebrated the holiday
by performing individual acts of kindness
through service to others.
Nechama is the Hebrew word for comfort, and it is also the name of a nonprofit operating out of the Twin Cities since 1996 to train and mobilize thousands of volunteers to help communities clean up after floods, tornadoes, and other natural disasters. Travel Television caught up to a team of Nechama volunteers at a home in Staten Island.
My name is Barry Glass, and I'm from Lexington, Massachusetts, and I'm here with a group from my temple, Shir Tikva, in Winchester, Massachusetts. And we're here on Staten Island to try to help folks who are still recovering from the flooding from Hurricane Sandy. And our temple has a commitment to caring for both people in our community and outside the community. And we have an agenda that includes going to different communities that are in need and bringing both adults and teens to communities to fulfill our tradition of Tikkun Olam, which is repairing the world. And this is our small our contribution to helping folks from Staten Island recover from this from the disaster of Sandy. And we're here working with Nechama, which is a Jewish group that specializes in response to disasters, and we connected with them. They're putting us up at the JCC here on Staten Island and making it easy for us to actually come here and help out.
Very good. Okay.
Today we are doing some pulling up of flooring that needs to dry out because the mold is still present in the house and the house won't dry out until the flooring comes up. We're taking up bricks and we're still removing debris from the flooding. So we're here, as I mentioned, as part of our tradition of Tikkun Olam and repairing the world, and we've done several trips also to New Orleans following Hurricane Katrina, and we find that they are important moments in both our families' lives and in our teens' lives of seeing that we can do something about disaster and we can respond in positive ways to things that occur beyond our community. And we find that it is a good experience for our families to do this sort of thing together. And we come back with a bit more sensitivity to the world around us, and that even though things might occur in distant places, we can have an impact and an effect on helping people out.
I highly recommend volunteering and coming down here. There sure is plenty of work to be done, and it's very rewarding, and you get to meet the people, and they become very real to you, and you really you learn how to build and how to tear up and how to give back, and it's a very rewarding experience.
For more than 7 years, United Way has provided students with an opportunity to give back to their communities and make a difference during their spring break. Through this collaboration between United Way and Deloitte, over 2,500 students have proven that spring break does not automatically equate to bathing suits and parties. It can be tool belts and stepping out of one's comfort zone to provide volunteer service for those hard hit by natural disasters. This year, the events were organized to help victims of Hurricane Sandy, a storm that ravaged the Atlantic coast, leaving in its wake hundreds of miles of eroded shores and demolished homes. Visit the United Way Take Action webpage to see the work that's been done in the past, partner organizations, read the blog, watch videos, and figure out how you and your friends or school group can participate. You can sign up for email updates and see what projects are on the horizon. Sadly, it seems there is no shortage of disasters that need people with the heart and determination to lend a hand. What better way to spend spring break than bonding with like-minded people while helping those who may have lost everything to take action and live united?
This is the World of Montgomery Festival to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Make a Difference Day. The week-long event, which aimed to engage 25,000 volunteers, started with the World of Montgomery Festival and ended with the Make a Difference Day Volunteers Awards Ceremony, held in Silver Spring, Maryland. Let's begin with Cheryl Kagan, the Director of Fund for Montgomery.
Well, first off, the World of Montgomery Festival is the first day kicking off the 25th anniversary of Community Service Week. What a lot of Montgomery County residents may not know is that 25 years ago, Community Service Day started in Montgomery County. It then went statewide. Governor Schaefer took it statewide, and then USA Today thought it was such a wonderful idea that they made it national, and it's called Make a Difference Day. But we started it right here in Montgomery County, and people today, in addition to the food and the music and the dance and the vendors, are signing up for volunteer projects. Many people are volunteering today, but they're also signing up for activities throughout the rest of the week. No matter what their areas of interest or geographic, home base, they can volunteer at some point.
We're here kicking off Community Service Week today at the World of Montgomery Festival. It's a whole week of service, October 16th through the 22nd, and we have about 6 different service projects in the tent behind me. We have volunteers kind of from all over the community doing projects. We have one volunteer from Potomac who's leading a project called the Giving Card Project. She makes cards and sells them and donates some money to charity. So we have volunteers in there helping her make some more cards. We're folding 1,000 paper cranes. So we have a lot of volunteers out here today doing great things for our community.
To celebrate the 25th anniversary, we decided that we wanted to recruit 25,000 Montgomery County residents to participate at some point during Community Service Week, because we wanted to accommodate people's schedules and include them in all sorts of activities. Different nonprofit and community groups created projects that they needed volunteers for. So people cleaned up a park, they did canned food drives, they repaired a house for someone with a disability, they made cards for veterans. and put together care packages to send abroad to our troops. There were so many different projects going, and any resident with any language skills, any level of ability or interest level could find something that they could do near their home or place of business.
And so we appreciate those who have already signed up and who already donate so much of their time, and we always need to reach more. Montgomery County's viewers should go to www.montgomeryserves.org. They can learn about opportunities to give back in any way they choose. Student learning credit is available for students, and people can just feel so great about helping those in need.
Furious George, we love you, we love you. I want to thank all the volunteers.
There are hundreds of wonderful nonprofits that make a difference in Montgomery County. Some are enormous with multi-million-dollar budgets, and some are run out of just someone's home, and because they're passionate about making a difference. And Montgomery County is lucky to have been able to partner through this Community Service Week with all of those. And I just want to mention a few of them and recognize them. So the first person I would like to bring up is the Pink Firefighter, Marshall Moneymaker. His group is called For Three Sisters, and it supports breast cancer survivors and families and raises community awareness. And I can tell you, one of the projects that was going on right here in this building for 4 hours, we had young and old, families and individuals, students and others, sewing pink breast cancer ribbons to present to you this evening. So, to the Pink Firefighters, there are a whole bunch of them for you. We have a few more nonprofits that we especially want to recognize. I can see Mark Burkell out there from A Wider Circle. The county executive was out there this afternoon along with dozens of people, hundreds over the last few weeks. They help collect goods, furniture, other things that make a house into a home for those people who are not able to furnish their own home. Mark is the founder, he's the executive director, he's an extraordinary leader, and he's been a wonderful partner to the Volunteer Center. Mark Burkell, congratulations. Do you want to say a word?
Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks for everybody who donates beds, dressers, tables, chairs, dishes, pots, pans, sheets, towels. We really appreciate it. We find good homes for your stuff. Thanks so much, and thanks, Cheryl.
Congratulations. A Wider Circle, a great cause to support.
Well, we had a great deal of services over the last 25 years in Montgomery County. It's really a reflection of the volunteerism and the community spirit that we have in Montgomery County. 25 years is great. We're going to do 25 more years. We're going to make it even bigger and better. 25 years of great service in Montgomery County for the many people and the many organizations that need the services and the many things that we contribute to make their life much better in Montgomery County.
I remember being very fearful of the unknown of what might happen next.
I remember it being like a bad dream.
I remember the plane flying over my head.
I remember kind of hiding my eyes and not looking at the television.
I remember the faces of my colleagues as the building swayed so violently after the plane crash.
I remember flyers of all the missing people.
That is an image that's seared in my mind.
I remember seeing people helping one another.
I think it's pulled the community together.
I remember people talking to each other.
An unbelievable sense of community.
I remember all of us coming together.
It wasn't just a New York thing.
We all were affected in some way.
You just wanted to do something.
I will remember by planting a tree.
I will continue to serve as a volunteer firefighter.
I will remember by taking my daughter to the Bronx Zoo.
I will call my grandmother.
I will clean up my room.
I will.
I will.
I will.
I will make a difference.